you can tell how much I love being up here on stage. Like, this is always what I've wanted to do. I've always loved performing. And I fell in love with performing watching people at concerts, man. I grew up in an era where our parents would let us go to concerts without them at 14, 15, 16 years old. And I remember the first... Oh, I got to tell you the story. Okay. I remember the first time I was allowed to wait out overnight for tickets to a show. And I was waiting in line, and I was 16 years old, and I was a dumb 16, guys. Dumb. Oh, I was these guys. Oh. And we were in line, and the show was on a college campus. And so there were all these grown-ups around us. And there were these 21-year-old girls behind us talking to us all night. And when I was 16, guys, I was super dumb. And I had no sexual experience. Like, I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Like, here are the things I didn't know how to do. At 16, I didn't know how to undo a bra. If I was with a woman and I wanted to see boobies, I just had to move the bra. I'd always cut the titties in half, and it was not good. And I didn't grow up with porn, right? How old were you when you saw porn, dude? 13? Why'd you say it like I was an asshole? But here's the thing, 13, okay. Which makes sense, right? Me, I did not grow up around porn. Like me and this dude back here. You want to hear something uncomfortable, bro? If we wanted to see porn, there was one dude in our neighborhood who had a VHS tape. And we all went to his house. You watched porn with your friends, bro. Oh, it was uncomfortable, but it was a sacrifice we were all willing to make, that's for sure. And you would go over and you would sit in we didn't sit, you laid on your stomach, but you were all there. You were all there. No, you weren't sitting with a boner. The first guy that went to the bathroom loses, But I didn't know about a woman's anatomy at all, dude. Here's what I knew. Because I knew that men's and women's nipples were in the same place. I had been to the beach, right? I knew the buttholes were in the same place. And I've said this before, but I did not know. I assumed, because I had never seen a woman or been with a woman, I assumed that since the penis was here, that the vagina was here. So the first time, I just started tapping around here. Just tapping. Like, legit, not kidding, guys. I thought it was supposed to pop open. I legit was like, well, that's why they call it the clam, right? You hit it, and then it just kind of goes like that. That's not how it works, by the way. I know you've never seen a vagina. That's not how it works. But, so, we're in line at this show, right? And we're there all night talking to these girls, and the woman behind me, her name was Stacy. And in the morning, when we go to get our tickets, my friend, his name was Roger Hurd, the fucking coolest kid in school. He says to me, he goes, hey, that girl in line behind you, Stacy, she wants to have sex with you. And I was like, stop it! Oh! No way, she's a grown-up. And he was like, doesn't matter, she wants to have sex with you. He said, so when you come back, you better be wearing your fuck clothes. And I was like, well, I definitely don't have any of those. I said, what are fuck clothes? And he goes, dude, fuck clothes are any clothes that you wear that make somebody else want to have sex with you. Guys, I wouldn't know what that is right now. But at 16, I couldn't go home and be like, Google what are fuck clothes, right? And you ask people my age, we didn't have real close relationships with our parents. It's not like I could go home and be like, hey, did you guys buy me any fuck clothes this year? So I had to show up in what I thought were my fuck clothes. And this will tell you the generation I grew up in. I showed up in my parachute pants. Oh, they were charcoal gray, and when you zipped them down, they were fire engine red. Cha-cha-cha! Yeah. I had a sleeveless shirt that had a lot of zippers that didn't do anything except go zip, 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 zip. I definitely had a mullet. I had a silver chain that was just long enough, guys, that if I was on top of you having sex, oh, it was gonna catch you right under the chin every time. Oh, I was ready to fuck, right? And so I'm up front dancing, and I will tell you something right now. I don't know if any of you remember this from your childhood, but this was already a monumental night for me because it was the first night I remember freedom. There was tickets that I bought with money I made from my job. I waited out overnight with grown-ups that I didn't know. And I was in a theater with 2,500 people who didn't have my last name, right? I was like, this is fucking freedom, right? And I'm dancing up front. I'm having the time of my life. And I feel these hands go into my pockets. And it was that girl, Stacy, right? And guys, when you're 16, that's right, and a woman puts her hands in your pocket, dude, you are hard now. Maybe now, but definitely now. And she leaned in and she just whispered in my ear and she goes, is it okay if I do that? She didn't sound like Michael Jackson. I gotta get her, that's fucked up. I gotta get her a better voice. That's totally inappropriate for this story, right? Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. Yeah, she just put her hands in my pockets and she was like, is it okay if I do that? And I was like, yeah. It's totally okay if you do that. I like it more when you do it than when you don't do it, that's for sure. And guys, look, maybe it lasted 2.5 seconds. And maybe she touched my dick, but I definitely came in my pants. That definitely happened. I was not used to anyone rummaging around down there besides a dude named Josh. Me, by the way, I should clarify that. Not some other dude named Josh, but this guy. So I was so inexperienced. This is the ultimate inexperienced sex story. This is how inexperienced I was. The first time I had sex with a girl, guys. A girl's guy? Yeah, it's 2025, you know. The first time I had sex with a girl, guys, and she rolled over to get into doggy, I didn't know what doggy was. I had never seen doggy, I had never heard of doggy. And you gotta remember, I didn't ask her to, she just... So you have to understand from where I was, 1 second she's like this, and the next second, she's like this. And so up to that point in my life, guys, the only time I'd ever seen anyone on all fours around me, they were throwing up. So I thought she was about to get sick. So I'm trying to be a good guy, so when she rolled over, I just started rubbing her back like this. And I was going, shh. I'm trying to be nice, right? I think she's gonna throw up, so I go, hey, can I get you a bucket? And she goes, why? What are you planning on doing? Yeah, inexperienced. All that being said, I had never come in my pants before. So I didn't know it was gonna leave a mark. Especially in those shiny ass parachute pants. Guys, when the concert lights hit my pants, it looked like I had like a 3D, like glow in the dark, just map of the United States, just right across my leg. And I'm up front dancing, right? And I'm having the time of my life. Guys, this was the most embarrassing thing that's maybe ever happened to me. I'm up front dancing, and the guitar player, it's a tiny place, guys. It's 2,500 seats, so the guitar player's walking around, he's saying hey to people. Hey. Hey. And he sees me and he goes... And he walked over to the bass player and he goes... 16, I was like, am I vibing with the band right now? They love me. I'm coming to every show, you know? And then when I looked down and I saw the stain, and I was like, oh no. And I immediately thought of Roger, because he was, if you ever knew the coolest kid in school, I'm like, he'll know what to do. So I walk up to him and I go, hey, Roger, I think we gotta go. And he said, why? And I go, and he goes, what is that? I said, it's cum. And he goes, who's cum? Yeah, that question fucked me up a little bit too, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like there's just some guy at the concert, like a little bit for you, oh, a little bit for you. Is this your first show? A little bit for you. I go, yeah, dude, my cum. And he goes, well, that's good. And I was like, yeah, I guess glass half full. I mean, better than the alternative for sure, yeah. And then he said, but why is that all over you? And I said, well, Stacy almost touched my dick. And I came in my pants. And he goes, that's from an almost hand job? I said, yeah. He goes, dude, you got an almost hand job at your first concert from a grown-up? I said, yeah. And he goes, bro, we're not going anywhere. This is your fucking night.